Right, back for another Man in the Van, episode 14 of Series 2. And I am very pleased to announce, before I do that, now you can see who's coming on, Ben Watson. But before I get him on, he's in our green room. He's done his hair. I'm looking at him now on his little screen down at the bottom. He's all ready to go. He's pearly white teeth. Those Watson boys definitely look after their teeth. Little shout out to these guys. Relaxtorace, bloody sunlight playing havoc. There you go. That sponsor, the Man in the Van, and of course, FXR. All their 2021 range is out, so go and check them out. Right, let's get him in. Enough of that. Thanks to those people, though. Can't do it without you, seriously. Here we go. We're going to bring him in. There he is. Hello. Ben Watson. Now I've probably made him too nervy to smile throughout because I've made him conscious of his white teeth. Have I?
No, not at all. Anyway.
No. Listen, what is it with you, Watson boys? You're obviously love what you do. You are a smiley, happy couple of brothers, aren't you? Like, I don't often see you looking miserable, even when things go wrong.
Yeah, no, it's just natural. It's not anything. Yeah, I've actually got two brothers, Ryan, but
he's the same. He's the same.
He's the same, but he's a little bit of the forgotten brother, to be honest, because obviously he's not racing full time like we do, and yeah, he's grafting. He does plumbing, so he's in the real world.
Does he not? He does the designs and stuff, though. He's really good at all those caricatures and designs.
Yeah, that's just more of a bit of a fun thing for him that he really enjoys. So he just sometimes in the evening, if he's got some time, or like Nathan, obviously he's gone to Honda now, so he in the evening after he got back from work, he made him a few new little logos in red, and yeah, he just does what he enjoys on that side. But a couple of years ago, he had the machines and he was doing all the graphics and he was really enjoying it. But, to start from nothing, it was taking time and, he needed money. So he got into the plumbing and, he's doing good there. So he's continuing on that way.
Soon, if you keep going there, keep pushing on, being a top motocross rider, earning loads, maybe you can buy him a nice new printer or something.
Yeah, maybe one day.
No, but you're a tight-knit family, you all stick together. And, of course, it's inevitable that you all love riding your bikes. Obviously, Dad's got some history, particularly riding in sand. So let's go right back to the start. How did it all start? Did he push you into it? Is it something not, in the nicest possible way? I mean, I know not literally beating around the head to get to ride, but, you were riding quite young and obviously came good pretty darn quick.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, definitely not pushed into it. But my dad was racing when we was all really young. So me, Nathan, and Ryan, when we was babies, Dad was like in his prime at that time. So we was just brought up in the paddock. We was surrounded by bikes from day one, and especially me because I'm the youngest. So Ryan, he was riding the pit bikes, and Nathan the same on a 50. And as soon as I could literally walk or put my leg over a bike, I was on one. And when we was about like 6, 7, 8 years old, it was coming home from school and just on the pit bikes in the garden all night, every night. And we all had our own CRF 50, and that was it. Like just in the garden, on the bikes, just racing, just full time. And then, of course, it was just fun. It was all, way too soon to know, if you're going to be any good or what. And then we went through the ranks, and actually Ryan was good, but he was just, like he got stressy when he was racing. And
did he really? Right.
Yeah.
I thought there you was going to say the opposite, that he didn't really want to have, had no hunger or drive for it and just didn't care. But quite surprised you said he got worked up.
He was the opposite. Like he wanted it too much, and he had a few accidents, and he was a little bit like he struggled to lose, let's say. If he was second or third, he'd get angry. And it was a bit more on that way. And then you've got Nathan, who's the complete opposite. And he was just, I don't want to ride today. So he didn't ride. And I was the younger one and just more, I was a little bit more natural at the beginning, maybe. Yeah, a bit of both. And, all the way through the youth, the family was a little bit more focused on me with racing. And Nathan and Ryan were half the time watching me. We went to America and did Loretta Lynd, and we traveled the world on a 50. And people
Right.
thought we was like way too into it too soon, but it was actually just fun. But yeah, I'll be honest, like all the attention and everything was more on me. And then when Nathan got onto a Honda 150,
That's the advantage of being the youngest.
yeah, all the attention. You get
I'm the same.
Yeah, I can't deny that one. But yeah, when Nathan got on a Honda 150, he started showing some potential and started speeding up a little bit, and then some opportunities came his way, and that was it. Like he was in there as well then. So at that point, it started getting a little bit more serious, and I was racing the Dutch Championship in 2011 with just me and my dad going to the races, and then Mum would be with Nathan in the UK, and that's when it started getting a bit more serious, and we had more support at that point, let's say.
So with obviously, so you got good. Listen, learning to ride in your garden, I think. So I did the same. Tight, confined space, early doors. You learn all the controls because you have to. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the garden shed or the rose bushes. That's if you had roses. My cousin went flat out into our garden shed and beat a hole in it when he was learning to ride, which I thought was hysterical. So you learn that control, but the sand thing, obviously Dad's, your dad Rob is, was it 5-time Western Beach Race winner? He loves a bit of sand. So was that because you went over quite early riding in Belgium and Holland that you got good in it pretty quick? Because let's be honest, the three of you certainly know how to ride the soft stuff.
Yeah, it's difficult to say, but in the UK, I think we're fortunate enough to have, a bit of a mixture of tracks. And we did, like when I was on a 65, we found Dunkirk, and that was where Dad used to go and do his training for Western, let's say, because that was claim to fame. That's what he put most of his focus into, and he loved that. And yeah, it paid off because he's been one of the most successful at it. But I was on a 65 and I was always at Dunkirk. We was going like most weekends at one point, and it was when it was really on the down low. Not many people knew about it, and at that point I was supported by MTech with Yed and Jane, and I was going to date. We was there all the time. Just we'd do our ride in the day, and then in the evening we'd go on the pit bikes around the edge of the track and just making little sand corners and stuff. And I spent a lot of time in the sand, and almost most of my riding in the sand. And it was the same. Like we had Doncaster Motor Park with Ed Bradley. He used to support us, and we was always there. And a few years ago, that was actually a little bit deeper than what it is now. So it was always around those tracks, but it was just what we loved doing. And the track we had in the garden was like literally pit bike track. It was so small, but we actually had the videos out not long ago. Ryan was more on the camera, and me and Nathan racing. And when you look back, it is really funny. We actually look pretty good. We're sketchy, just hanging it out, trying to take each other out. And I think we learned a lot growing up. Just having.
Well, you would do, yeah. Do you ever? I mean, as a three of you, and now you're all busy, all got separate lives, you're all into like your mid-20s. Do you ever get out as a family? And I know obviously you got a ridiculous schedule. Even this year with COVID, when we thought we weren't going to have hardly any GPs, they're still managing to cram them in. But at any point in the year, do you manage to get out together and ride as a family? Just go somewhere and have a ride together and a laugh?
Not really. I mean, I'm full-time Belgium, and I have no real option on that. Like, this is where I have to be. And as you know, with the schedule, especially this year, it's just everything's so tight now. If they want to get enough races in to actually class it as a championship, that I have to be here. And since lockdown eased a little bit, I came back here. It was the beginning of May, so I've been out here full time. And then Nathan, he was based in the UK, so I didn't see or do any riding with anyone until lately when he's come over here now with the new bike, and he's training a lot in Belgium and at Dunkirk. So my dad rides still quite often when he can. He goes and he'll either go on Ryan's Yam, or he'll either go on one of the friends' Huskies, or any bike they can. Just let's have a go on that one, and he'll do a few laps on it. But nothing. The opportunity doesn't really come up, because when I go back to the UK, it's normally to have a bit of downtime, to kind of get away from the bikes and have a little bit of normality, just do some stuff with friends. And yeah, I'm not normally going back to go training. So no.
Well, no, just to chill out. I mean, you know, what at the best of times, it's a 20 event GP calendar. That's a lot. I know that, obviously, just because you know, over the last 48 hours or more, just trying to, you know, to get this done with you, you know. So hello, look, I got one of my mates trying to put me off. That's always good. Well, stick your head in the door, just so you could get, you know, just so you can get it over with, just so you can get on television. That's my best mate. I was meant to be his best man at a wedding last week. He was meant to be getting married, but COVID put pay to that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, you've had your moment.
All
now,
right.
Are we live? No, we're not live. We'll be later on, though. I can't cut it out now, can I? I'm using your internet, though, so that's a bonus.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Anyway, yeah. So with a long calendar, you know, it's you're always busy. So I know how busy you are because we've had to sort of be back and forth just for you to find the time. You've had to be off to a physio. What have you been, physio this morning or something? Did you say?
Yeah, physio and a little bit of training. So nothing like at the moment because the race is so close together. It's not like anything heavy. It's focused heavily on recovery actually, and yeah, just making sure you're ready to go for the next race because we have a Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, and then now we've actually got like 5 days off before we race again. So yeah, it's all tight, but it's just focused on recovery, to be honest.
Well, you know, right? Okay, so we spoke about your upbringing or whatever. Don't have to go into all the details of what you want as a youth rider, but you know, you were prolific, certainly in the UK, and then going over, like I said, racing in Holland and Belgium and whatnot.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to ask you this, not at the time because you were living the moment, so I never asked you at the time. But there was for a couple of years there in the youth scene where, you know, and it's inevitable, it's going to happen when you're doing amazingly well and winning everything. You know, you had a high profile, you were supported by Red Bull and stuff as well, where probably myself included, but certainly a lot of the media going in the UK going, he's the man. He's our next world champion, guaranteed. Bosh, he's going to do it. As a youngster, when you hear that, how did that affect you? Did it motivate you? Did you feel the pressure of that?
It's hard to
say. Did you even pay attention to it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing with me, what I struggle with, and I still do now, is the pressure a little bit, but it's more on myself. Like I've learned to not really care what the people around me think, because especially last year when I broke my hand, and I went back to the UK and I didn't look at bikes, and I didn't speak to anyone from the team for weeks, and then I came back to Belgium and I did 2 days on the bike, and it was before Lommel. And I was just like, I was really enjoying the riding for 2 days. I didn't have any pain in my hand. And the team in Yamaha said, please don't race. Like from us, like, don't do it. And I said, no, I've missed a load of time off the bike. I've not cared what anyone's thinking. And now I just want to do what I want. And I want to go out there and have fun. And I don't care if I was going to finish 15th overall. I wanted to go. Lommel was my local track that I spent a lot of time on, and I wanted to just go race. And I was nothing special on Saturday. I didn't do any good times or anything. And then Sunday, I had 2, good rides and got on the podium. And then I learned a lot from that, just to do what I feel like, and that helped me with the pressure a little bit. But still now, like I get before the races a little bit nervous and think like, I know what some people expect of me, and I know what I expect of myself, and I struggle to eat on a race day, and I think it's
still to the
normal.
Still.
Yeah.
That's surprising. That actually surprises me. You know, that you still got those nerves that make things like that obviously happen, and now having to manage them.
But as a youngster, I was like twice as bad. I would never eat breakfast. I couldn't do. I was sometimes sick on a race day, and it was at that point, like on an 85, 65, when I was winning everything, and I was winning quite a lot of stuff like easy, but I would get so nervous and so, stressy, let's say. And it's still, when people talk about like, oh, could he be the next world champion and stuff? Obviously, it was way too early to be thinking about that and getting, stressed about that. But I remember, I'll never forget the junior world championships in 2011. I won quite a lot that year, and I did the Dutch championship and the British championship in the same year. and 2 races clashed. So I had to miss 1 Dutch and 1 British to try and get them, most out of both. And I still won both championships. So that was like a big year. And then it was the Junior World Championships at the end. And everyone was looking at me, and I was the hard hitter that was expected to win. And I remember still to this day, the night before being sick, and in the morning being sick. I didn't eat or drink, and yeah, I was terrible on the day. I still finished 4th, but I was on that day like way below my potential. And now I've grown up and learned a lot more. It's better, and it doesn't affect me in my riding so much. But yeah, it's still sometimes nervous.
You got, that. Wow, that's a great story. Well, not great for you because you suffered with the nerves. Did that play on your mind for a little while? Does it still? Do you see that as an opportunity lost? But I suppose now you're making it as a professional racer. So, but maybe it didn't right up to the point I've just brought it up. So apologies.
No. Like at the time, it was the Junior World Championship. It was huge. It was this massive race for me. And, like when I look back now, it meant absolutely nothing. It was cool to have it behind your name and, this guy was a Junior World Champion, but it means absolutely nothing. Okay, it can create some opportunities when you're young to have that support earlier, but at the end of the day, like if you ride a bike good enough and you work hard enough, the opportunities will come to you. And like through my first years in EMX 250, for example, the first year I think I qualified for maybe 2 races, and there was no eyes on me or anything. It was just we was doing it because Nathan was racing and he was more competitive. Like he was trying to go for podiums that year, and we went back the next year and it was Bulgaria, and I think it was 13 or 14, and I ended up winning the first race. I had the red plate, and it's like things can change so quickly, and if you work and put the effort in, the opportunities will come to you.
Talking of which, going back to the EMX 250, we did on my Dirty Talk show a couple of weeks ago, or whenever it was, we had Bob Buchanan on, Martin Barr on, talking about how difficult to British riders to come up through. The EMX 250, just I'm sure you'll back me up on this. Just sort of underline as quickly as you can how tough that actually is. Just like you said, just to even get in the race. Yeah,
like in the GPs, you have a few riders that are strong and good, and then you have the few which they're putting the effort in, and luckily they have good support to be able to go around the full championship and do the GPs. But in the EMX, it's maybe a little bit less now because of the age rule that's come in, and they've packed it with 23. But like when we was doing it, it was just you had to qualify for a start. Like I was that GPs you don't have to. Like I think there were not even 30 riders in the GP at the weekend, which is it's sad really. But the EMX it's always full. There's normally 2 groups in qualifying, and there's some guys that after the first sessions have to go home. And I do like that. Like it was when we was doing it, it was intense, really intense. There was no time to kind of back off. It was like everyone wanted it so much, and you've got these young kids that you've never heard of just can hang it out for one lap, and then you've got guys that have been in GPs and then fizzled away a little bit, and then they're dropping into EMX again. So you had a real wide variety of riders, but everyone was just the level from like 1st to 30 was not that much different. It was everyone so closer, the level is quite intense.
So now you've got, I don't mean it like that. Obviously, you're straight in MX2 high end is obviously even tougher.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Your EMX 250 career obviously went all right. You didn't win the title, but you have progressed on to be an MX2 rider. Let's go straight in with marking it from 1 to 10. Your MX 250 GP so far. How do you assess yourself? Your own school report from 1 to 10. What would you give yourself at this point?
I don't know. It's hard to say because my best season so far was 2018, but that's not how I was not riding better than what I am now on this moment. So it's really hard to really assess myself, but I've not been that successful. I'll be honest. Like I've had 3 podiums in my 3 years of being up there. I've finished maybe 4th overall 11 or 12 times now.
Wow.
So painful, and I think probably 5 or 6 by 1 point. So yeah, it's 1 point. You're not on the podium. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 5. And I think it's like almost 30 times inside the top 6 overall. So the consistency has been there at times, but I've had a few injuries, and it's been very, very up and down for me. So to give it like a number, I don't really know, but yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it for you. As you've just broken all that down, that's like I said, the consistency is solid, and all that. So I give you. I'm not going to do 0.5s. I will on this occasion. I get a 7.5 because, like you said, you're there or thereabouts. It's that missing last little piece.
Nothing special. I've not come out and won a race or something. So yeah, still got a lot to learn.
Well, of course, but that's what I mean. It's that missing thing, and we all know. Any sport is confidence led, but motocross in particular, it's so stupidly bloody tough and demanding and so many factors. But once you do get that confidence and that little bit of belief that you're winning races and making podiums regularly, everything goes up a notch, doesn't it? And I mean, right now, you're right, seemingly on that cusp of really. It seems like you're a little bit more self-confident this year, and things are.
Yeah, there is. On the top sport, like where we are now, there's so many little things that can affect you so much, and you don't understand like everything has to be in its correct place if you want to be on the top, and you've got like it's not an excuse because you see like I got 2 whole shots this last week, but I'm really heavy for this category, and I have like obviously the age rule is young, it's 23, but I do believe that even if it was 25 or 26, I would be moving on to a 450 next year because I see. I don't know if it's going to affect me or if I'm going to be different or worse. I could be way worse on a 450. No one knows, but I just feel. I don't know. I hope.
I hope you've agreed. I hope you've agreed some kind of deal or anything at this point because you didn't exactly sell yourself there as a 450 rider.
I'm just being honest. Like it's what you say. Like no one knows. You see someone styling. You can. A lot of people say, you're going to suit a 450. So I don't know. We'll see. But it's just so many little things can affect and hold you from being on the top. And you see guys like Jago and Vial, they're fighting with each other. And I think if it was just Jago or just Vial, you would see those guys not finishing like 15 seconds ahead of the field or something because they would be more, chilled out a little bit if they were 5 seconds ahead. So I finished 2nd in one race at the weekend, 3rd in one race, 4th a couple of times, 1 second off, 5 seconds from 1st. So it's very close, but I've not won or done anything really special at the moment. So it's close, and I hope that maybe if I do get a race win or an overall win or something, that maybe something clicks and then that's it. You don't want anything less than that. And that was a little bit like when I was racing the British Championship alongside the GPs. I was going to the GPs and I would never dream of winning a race or taking an overall or even a podium at that point. Yeah. And then I was going back to the British and I wouldn't settle for anything less than a win. And it was like I went to the races with a complete different mindset. And still now, like I'm maybe too happy when I just finish on the podium. Because I'll be honest, like when I finish 3rd overall, I'm over the moon. Like I should be, and I should enjoy the moment. But maybe I need to be not happy unless I'm on the top step.
Well, you're all too. I mentioned that at the start of the bloody show. You're all too happy all the time. You've got to start looking more miserable.
Yeah, I know.
So make it show more. That's what you got to do. Yeah. So listen, the age category. So basically, you've made your mind up, or is it the age thing? Because how old are you now?
Yeah, I'm 23 now.
Yeah, so you've got to go up anyway.
Yeah.
So what have we got left? How many more GPs? You'll obviously know what?
7 left.
7.
7,
Yeah. So you got 7 chances to try and put it on.
Still a long way to go. Maybe the beginning of October was still a long way to go.
Yeah. Well, that's when you'll come good. October's traditionally a good month for your family, I would have thought, with all the beach race and all the history there. So
yeah.
Maybe it'll come there. So, talking about, by the way, at the weekend, Mantova, I managed to catch a little bit of it in between being at the MX Nationals. I did see a little moment. Obviously, somebody upset you in some way, shape, and form. That's all I saw. I didn't see the backstory of that. I genuinely didn't. All I saw, I had the volume down. So, what was all that about? Just a typical blue flag moment? Somebody not moving out of the way?
Yeah, it's nothing too proud. I don't recommend doing it, but it was just like in the moment.
I did. We're talking about it.
Yeah, it just happened. I mean, the thing I was so angry about was the guys were maybe the guys ahead were probably around 10 seconds in front of me, and in that race I was 6th, and then there was 2 laps to go or 3 laps to go, and Mantova, you saw how difficult it was to pass. Like a lot of the racing was like watching paint dry. It was boring when I was watching, and you go up and down the hills like 3 times before the rollers, and the guy looked behind on the triple before the first uphill, and I don't know if he thought I was like racing him, or I guess he didn't think that we was lapping him or that I was lapping him, and he was like swerving in front of me and blocking me, and I was just on the clutch and the throttle, like revving him out the way, like, move, what are you doing? And it came to the rollers. I was behind him for like 4 or 5 corners at this point, getting really wound up. And you can just see the guys ahead just completely going in the distance. And it got to the rollers, and then he made a mistake in front of me. And then I had to roll through every single whoop, and I was just like swearing under the helmet. I lost like 6 or 7 seconds with him. And then I went over the jump and just, let my emotions out a little bit. But I was so angry. And then the next lap, Beaton crashed, and he got up on the final lap just right in front of me. So if that guy didn't hold me up, maybe I was 1 place higher. Then I missed the podium by 1 point, so that could have been the moment what I got the extra point from. And I was just like,
well, like you said, all these factors, and you've definitely sold that one to me. If anything, I thought now hearing the complete story, I think you were quite mild mannered.
Yeah. I mean, I just went over that jump, and it just happened natural. I don't know why I did it.
Nah. You could have been like that. You could have been like that go-karting guy this last weekend. Did you see that
video?
Yeah.
What was he thinking?
Yeah. That's what you should have come. You should have waited at the end of the track and thrown something at him when he crossed the line.
That was crazy.
Well, that's a great story. Not for you, but thanks for bringing us up to speed with that. So, regards of next year, then. I know obviously contracts are always complicated. There's a lot of factors and whatever, and obviously there's there's even if you just basically, where are you? How much can you tell us about next year without not telling us, if you know what I mean, of where you're at and what you're doing?
Yeah, like there's nothing secret. Like I haven't signed my deal yet, but I'm well on the way to doing it. And I'm not the guy that just wants to keep switching around. And like I'm really happy with the group of guys that I have around me, and that's like my main priority is to keep the support with the guys I have at the moment. And I work well and we get on really good, so that is my priority. But like I said, I haven't signed anything yet, so as you know, in the sport, things can change so quickly. And at the end of the day, like I'm employed by them, I'm not my own boss, so things could change really, really quick. So I'm just at the moment going to focus on my job, try and keep working hard, get on the box, and let my riding do the talking. And that's what I want to put my focus into, not like trying to sell myself and thinking too much about signing a deal for next year, because at the end of the day, like I've only got a few more races on the 250, so I want to enjoy it and achieve as much as I can while I can.
Yeah, not have the stress of worrying about contracts, take your eye off the ball and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of experience in that team. I was going to say I used to obviously like Marnik Wurz. I used to race him. I didn't. I was in the same race. Never raced. He was up the sharp end. I was one of those guys that were getting blue flag before they even had blue flags. But at least I was out there.
You moved out of the way though.
Of course I did. Of course I was never one for that. I was thinking, no, I don't want to get caught up in any of that. I'm just happy to be here.
I think Warnick was a little bit aggressive back in the day as well.
God.
Don't experience holding them up.
Yeah.
Would have been worse than a finger, I think.
No, he was. He was an intimidating guy. He was.
Yeah.
He was quite burly and big. I remember obviously qualifying a few times. Doing fast laps and all that kind of stuff, and thinking, I don't want to mess him up.
No.
Yeah. So he's definitely intimidated me to that level. Yeah. But there's a wealth of experience in there, and you've obviously had you've done coaching with Jackie Vimond and stuff as well. So as a good rider yourself, and let's be honest, you're 23, so you're not a real youngster anymore. But still at that age, how much does it help having like that kind of experience behind you? Like you said, every day's a school day, so it must be reassuring to come in knowing that you've got not just your mechanics and all that, but actually a wealth of experience from somebody that has literally raced at the sharp end for so many years and been at the top.
Yeah, like Marnik was Stefan's main rival. Like Marnik finished second in the world 4 times, and every time behind Stefan, and sometimes very close. So he beat him on many occasions, and a guy with so much experience and knowledge. It is really good to have someone like that around you. And the really good thing with Marnik is he's the team manager, and because he was an ex-rider on the top, he knows that as a rider you have bad days. You have days where you're just not on it, and he knows when to tell you, like, don't worry, it doesn't matter. And to have that in your team, it helps you be a little bit more free and not worry and stress about, every day having to be amazing. And it's like he said, like if you don't want to go training this week, don't have a few days off. Don't worry about it. And he has a lot of experience from back in his day. He was always overtraining, they said, and they were doing way too much. And
that's why they were up there, and I was bringing up the rear.
But no, like he always goes on about, they had 40-minute motos, and back in the day it was much tougher than what it is now. He's like, you guys have got it easy, and he sees the training plan that we get given, and he's like, you guys have got it easy. But just that's what's nice to have around you, just someone who's not real serious, and he has a good laugh, and it makes it enjoyable. It's a nice environment when he's around. But training with Jackie was really good. He was a little bit not opposite, but not on the same wavelength. He was really
a bit more intense. I would have put Jackie down as
a lot more serious. He was more, when you're working, you do the job, and this is what we will do today. And then he was also, when you had an off day, it was go out, do something different, go fishing or do something that's going to completely take your mind off it. And it was a mixture of different people. And the good thing, like now, I do a lot with Ramar, and Ramar's full time with Jackie. So a lot of my riding and physical training, I'm still in contact with Jackie, most days, but just on a friendship basis, because he's employed full time by Kawasaki, so he's not actually he can't work with me like we did in 2018. But I really enjoyed the year with him and the program and the way he works. For some people it was too much, for others it was fine, and it worked really well for me. So from that season in 2018, working full time with him and spending every single day of the year with him, it was a big lesson to me, and that's what it's good for my future, because I've had one year where I finished 4th, and I worked, like I trained a lot that year, and I did a lot of riding that year, and then you go to some now, like I do a little bit less now, and you just feel the difference, and it's just gaining experience every time. You're learning, a lot. Yeah, like in Sardinia in the beginning of the season, I did 1 month with Jackie, and it was heavy. Like we're riding like 4 or 5 times a week for 1 month, and I think we had like 2 or 3 days in the month where we did like nothing. It was a day off, so it's a real intense month. And unfortunately, at the end of the month, I hurt myself, and I thought to myself, like, did I do a little bit too much? Or so it's all just learning. And,
well, it is. That's it, isn't it? But
yeah,
I mean, you're in a good place. Like you said, I on again, you've got your opinions. We all got our opinions on everything, of course. The way you ride, you're riding, starting, like I said, you are big for the 250. The 450, I think, will bode well. I also, think that, you're looking at someone like Siwa or whatever, Siwa, who's, again, not the biggest. You're somebody, but you're big for a 250, but you're not overly huge, obviously, like for a 450.
No. I think it'll be good for a 450.
Yeah. And so you'll get plenty of.
You see riders like Blasiconis, he's massive, and he's won races, been on the podium, and so I think the size, and then you see Siwa almost leading the world championship. He's won multiple races now, and I think it goes a little bit more on your technique and your training and how much you work. A little bit more technical when it gets to the 450.
Which is you all over. And like I said, if you're kind of getting keeled out of the start, you did pull a couple of old shots, like you said, over the amount of a period, but you'll probably have more chance of obviously power to weight ratio on the 450. So you got to be excited about that. Obviously, we're all excited to see you move up. So I hope you put pen to paper soon and can get on and get training for that. One thing I did want to talk to you about as well, because at the time, it was intense. And I really didn't get a chance to catch up with you properly. I haven't really spoken to you properly since. Was your Motocross of Nations experiences? First and foremost, as a rider representing your country, that must be like when you hear about football players getting their first cap when they get the phone call from Gareth Southgate or whatever. Yeah. That must be such a cool moment when that. However, Mark contacted you, however you found out when that news came through.
Yeah, I remember that year because it was 18. I was having a real good year, and I was putting in some good races. And at that point, we had like Max, there was Dean, Sean, Conrad, Sterry. There was a bunch of guys. And then you had in the UK Jake, and there was a lot of guys that could potentially be on the team. And I remember I was the top place 250 rider, and there was talks of could Tommy ride the 250 and then get Dean and Jake or Max, and there was so many opportunities. I remember Team GB was the last to be announced by I think a long way, and it was not on my mind, but I was really, really hoping that I was going to be chosen. And then I got the call that I was going to be selected on the team, and it was with Tommy and Max, and obviously both good friends, and we had it was an amazing time in America. We had a house, and it didn't feel like a race that was as important as it was, because it was not for a championship. It was not like, if you messed up, it was one race that didn't affect you. Although the whole of the country was watching you, and you were selected out of so many riders, and the whole country is watching this, probably the biggest race of the year in motocross. And I should have had a lot more pressure than what I did on that race. And we just had a lap. We was playing golf in the week, and it was the very end of the season, so we weren't training hard, because what can you do in 1 week before the race? It was the last race of the season, so we just made sure we was recovered. And Tommy, I remember Tommy was in fourth in his race, and then his bike broke, and it was and it was going down a little bit. And then my first race, I had a pile up in the first corner, and I rode well, but I didn't come back that amazing. And then it was my second race, and we decided to put me on the inside on the 250, and then I ripped a real good start, and I was third. And yeah, just such a good memory. Like I was just so free in that race, just riding around like I was training. And it was the most fun I've ever had riding a bike, still to this day, by quite a long way. Yeah,
that's some statement. That's some, not well. I mean, obviously you want the sport to be fun, but like I said, arguably like the biggest race on the MX calendar. But like you said, for you on a personal level, felt no pressure. That's amazing.
Yeah, because it was just like you don't understand how much more enjoyable it is when you're riding at the front. When you're like fighting for 12th place or something, and it's just not as enjoyable. I don't know. For some other people, maybe it is, but I remember looking at the names on the start list and the guys who I was racing with, and then during that race, riding around in third, and I was battling with two people that I was racing all year. It was Prado and Hunter Lawrence, and I remember Koldenoff was ahead, and it was 3 250s, second, third, and fourth, and we had an amazing race, and in the end I finished fourth, and the race just went like that. It was so quick.
Did it? Yeah. For you?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, yeah.
For us lot watching.
Yeah. And I remember like I had Tom Neal, he came over and he was with my brothers and mom and dad, and they had like, it was the end of the season, so they were out during the week, and then I remember I was walking down to the start line, and then Rob Davidson came up, he surprised me there, and in the end it was a really, really good week, and one that I will never forget.
Obviously, I was there, so they were having a good time. Trust me. While you were out there doing your thing. In fact, every time I saw them over the weekend, there were so many Brits that went out to that. Obviously,
I know. Everything, like I think there was more British fans there than there was any others. It was amazing. A really, really good memory.
Must have been an amazing family experience as well. Obviously, then when Nath got the call, I mean, I'm somebody will stand me corrective if I got it wrong, but I can't think of too many brothers that have raced for the nations, for the British team. So that must have been cool. Like, as a younger brother, you must have been really, really pumped for him and proud. And
like obviously the team got announced, and I was fortunate enough to be put into the nations team for 19 as well. And that was great. Like I'd had an injury that year and didn't have so many good results, one podium and a few, top five. So again, I was nothing really special, but I was chosen again. And I remember like thinking, it's going to be a real fun. It's going to be Assen, deep sand, a bit of me again.
Yeah.
I had a lot of focus on that because my championship was done, and it was going to be try and end on a positive note. And then I obviously had the injury again at the final GP, and then Max also had his injury, so there was two of us out, and who better to give the ride to? It was my brother, so that was amazing. And I think the year before there was also talks like both Watson should be in it, and Nathan's name was brought up quite a lot. And I remember speaking to him saying like, "What would you do if you got chosen?" And he's like, "I probably won't ride. I mean, I've done motocross for years now. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be like."
Oh, that is brilliant. No, thanks for the gig, but not interested.
I mean, like he did a few motocross races, and you don't lose it. I mean, you might lose a bit of intensity if he's not done like sprint laps and stuff for a while, and then it was the year after. So Assen was the year later, and when we was talking about it, then he was like, "Yeah, I'd be well up for it." Yeah. And Mark called him, and he was like, "Yeah, let's go for it," and he did amazing.
Oh, unreal. Amazing.
I remember I was in Australia on holiday at that point because I was completely over the year, and I was watching the live timing from his first practice qualifying, and he was in fourth. And the guys behind him, like guys who had just become world champion, who was behind him, and then in the first race he was like, it was with Hurlins and Prado for a long time, and it was real strange to see. I mean, I know the conditions were special, and maybe not like real motocross conditions for some guys what they'd want, but at the end of the day, it was still motocross, and he loved it. And I think it was at that point that he was like, "Yeah, man, I wish I was still in MXGP."
Well, listen, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. If we ever get back to a nations that's another sand-based track, there is a bloody good chance that you two could be lining up. In fact, sod it. Let's get Ryan out.
Yeah.
And just have Team Watson representing Team GB in the sand. Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go. That would do Mum and Dad proud, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, Ben, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for your time. I could talk for hours, of course, as you well know, and I often do. But there'll be another instalment for this, maybe 2 years' time, next year's time. Catch up, find out how your 450 career's going.
Yeah, anytime.
Really wish you the best of luck in the off season. Hope it all goes to plan. Hope you get signed up soon, and all your pre-season goes exactly how you want it. And hopefully, we will see you running at the sharp end in MXGP. That would be cool.
That's the goal and the plan. So I'll look for it and make sure I'm enjoying it. And we'll see. Good
luck, mate. Hopefully, when COVID all comes, well, it won't go, was it? But when things get a little bit more easier, we can meet up somewhere at a track, and you can give me some coaching.
Yeah,
or Marnik can. Marnik can. I can. We can really. Yeah. Exactly. All right, mate. Take care. Good luck with it all. Smash these last 7 rounds of the MX2 class. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll be able to bag overall victory and some race wins before then, and finish off your MX2 career in style. Good work.
Thank you very much.
Right. See you soon, Ben. All the best.
See you later.
Right. See ya. Okay, so Ben's out of there. Back with me. That was it. Man in the Van, episode 14. So that's it. I'm going to clear off. That was great talking to Ben there. He's a good man. He's a good lad. And that's it. We catch up soon. I don't know who I've got up next. I'll decide. See who's going. Who will be episode 15. Everybody stay safe out there. Obviously, still this mad world that we're living in. So go careful. Big shout out once again to FXR. And let me get him out of the bag. Relaxtorace. Thanks for your help with all this and the Man in the Van series. I'll be back soon. In the meantime, look after yourselves. I'm gone.